So let's define employee class where we have a name and then salary there. So in constructor employee, we would get name and the salary there. Then we can set name, salary, salary there. So in manager, we will have an additional member named department. That's new to manager. In constructor, we'll take name and salary and department there. Then name and salary are stored in its superclass employee, so we can call super. Name and salary are forwarded there, and then department it stores for himself. Executive, we don't need any more new information, so when we create through constructor, name is provided, salary is provided, and then department is provided at the constructor. Then what you could do is just pass name, salary, and the department to its parent class manager, and all of those are stored there. And the company policy is that when raising salary, so public void raise salary, certain percent, certain percent is announced. Then for employees, salary is raised by the announced percentage. So salary is a salary plus the percentage announced. That's how to raise salary. But in manager will get one more percent compared to regular employees. So what you can do is we can override the raise salary method in employee class double percentage there. What you need to do is just add one more percent than employee. So if I call super raise salary, that's a raise salary of employee. So then percentage plus 1 is how to raise a salary in manager, just one more percentage there. So similarly, for executive class, we can override the raise salary method in manager class. So double percentage, then we do similarly super dot raise salary percentage plus 1. Here, what you should notice is that in executive class, as we call raise salary of a super, which means manager, immediate parent is there. So if you go to manager's raise salary, it adds one more percent in addition. So executive classes will get 2 more percent compared to employee. So that's how we implement raise salary by overriding the parent method like that. And for testing purpose, let's give a string representation of each class by overriding toString method. String toString method can override that. Then let's return a formatted string. So string dot format, and then what I'm going to do is just class name employee, and then I'm going to give a name. Name is in string. Salary is in floating number, real number, but I can do like .2, and then which means 2 digits after decimal point only. So since it's double number, you may have several digits after decimal point. So I just cut by 2, and those one in parentheses. Then first one is name, second one is salary there. So that's how I'm going to format the string as a return as a string. In manager, override public string to string method, override that, and then return string format. What I'm going to do is a class name manager, then I'm going to give inside the parentheses, I'm going to give whatever its a parent class does to string. It's an employee has information about the name and salary. Let's print that. And then in addition, manager has a department string. So let's print department there. So let's do very similarly for executive class. So let me copy and then put it here. Then this is executive class, and then we don't have its own department information, so that's sufficient. So we have designed all of those, and then in controller, let's create main class for testing. Public static void main string array parameter name. Here let's do tester, and then static void test code is something like that. So let's create array list of employee, then e list new array list, something like that. Then using a loop is 5 of them. Let's add e list add by creating employee object. We need to pass name, so let's have a emp name with I attached, and then salary should be let's have a set fixed salary like that. And then let's add manager. It's a manager name, and then we need to import a manager class, and then in addition to salary, we need to add manager department with I concatenated. Similarly, let's add executive. So here executive name, and then department is executive as well. So we have some test data there. Then let's print on the screen for we have enhanced the for loop. So employee e, and then e list there, system.out.println, we can print e, then toString will be called. Here polymorphism works, so when we have a e.toString method, not based on the type of e, but type based on the value, the type of the value in E. So if it's an employee, if it's a manager, if it's executive, based on that value type, corresponding to string will be called. So let's test the program. So here we have employee, manager, executive. So toString method depending on the type of the value, that is all taken care correctly. Now let's test the raise salary one. So at this moment, let's have enhance the loop again. There, that raise salary 1% there. So we can easily calculate 1% of 1,000 is 10. After raising salary, let's print the salary there. Then here, employee salary is 2,000. So computation is not correct because in raise salary percentage is there, but I multiply the percentage directly. But actually, since this is a percentage, I need to divide it by 100. That is missing. But manager, executive, computation is done in the employee class, so that we don't have to change in other classes. So let's test one more time. Now employee 10 $10 increase, but manager is 1 more percent, that's 20. Executive is 2 more percent, then 30 is there. So the computation is done correctly like that. So for testing purpose to develop later, so let's add another method called set salary. So public void set salary, double salary is provided. Then it's a very simple. This dot salary is whatever salary is there. So we can use this one in main. So instead of we can give a salary of 0 at the beginning, but later now we can set salary employee list. We can call set salary of 100, then raise salary 1%, then print. So the program we can test just one more time. So we have 101, 1%, 2% raise, executive 3% raise, and so on. So we have tested those one. On the next several videos, we are going to have a graphic user interface where we can simulate the employee class hierarchy.